How great would it be to have a list of the most essential things that you need to do before your next job interview? Well, with that in mind, that's exactly what we've prepared. Hello, my name is Stephen Wright. I'm a career coach here at Career Mentor, and we help high-performing financial services professionals make their next smart career move. So there are 10 things. Let's rattle through them quite quickly. The first one is to become as clear as you possibly can about what it is that they are looking for. Now, you can look at the job spec, you can listen to what the recruiter has said, you can look at the advert that they place online if relevant, but also if this is not your first interview with that firm for that job, then what you've learned from previous interviews is really important, really useful. So try and really understand what it is that they're looking for. Next point is to make sure that you match up what from your value proposition, your value offer, matches what they're looking for. And then number 3 is to create examples, perhaps 2 examples for each one, for the ways in which you do match. And make sure that those examples do contain the context, what your role in the story was, the result, and the impact on the stakeholders and the firm itself. So have those all prepared. Number 4 is to think through the obvious questions that they're going to ask you and prepare your answers. So things like, well, tell me about yourself, why did you leave that firm, and why do you want to join us? Are the most obvious things. There are others as well. Think those through and prepare your answers for them. And then perhaps number 5 is to think through the difficult questions that you'd really rather they didn't ask and have answers for those as well. So for example, if you've ever been let go from a firm, then being able to answer the question, why were you fired, might be something that you want to prepare. Do bear in mind, of course, that an interviewer may try and trigger you and see how reactive you are under a little bit of pressure in an interview situation. Number 6 is to do your research. So understand the products and services, the geographies, the leadership team of the firm that you're interviewing with. Have they been in the news? How well are they doing? What are their numbers? So on and so forth. So really do that basic research, and you've got that knowledge before you go in. And then you want to, number 7, place all of that business in the context of its subsector, its industry, and so on, and where it is in the economic cycle. Also, this is an opportunity for you to be able to compare and contrast that particular business with its direct competitors, and perhaps look at some of the trends that you think are happening within that industry. Be able to have that kind of conversation. Number 8 is to prepare your questions for them. So they know what they're looking for and they've prepared your questions. And quite rightly too, your job is to match what it is they're looking for with what you've got to offer. And by the same token, you want to understand as much as you can about this role and how it fits with what you're trying to achieve. The very basic stuff here is, what's the role? How has it come about? Where does it sit in the value chain? What are the deliverables? What are the resources you're going to give me in order to deliver on that? Under what sort of timescale? And who will I be reporting to? And so on. So prepare your questions for them. Now, you may not have the opportunity to ask all of those questions in one interview, but certainly have a list of your questions for them. Number 9, if you're doing this interview in person, then make sure that you turn up at the right building in plenty of time. And yes, when I was a headhunter, I did actually turn up for a client meeting at the wrong building. So turn up at the right building in plenty of time, appropriately dressed, well turned out, have a couple of copies of your CV printed on nice paper, hopefully not folded, so you've got those to hand should it be necessary. If you're doing the interview online, then make sure that you've got a reasonably good picture, so you've got a little bit of a gap above your head, that you've got good background, that you've got good lighting and sound and so on. Ideally, you really want to have the camera still, so not using your phone and moving around, which can be quite tricky. The final point here is to make sure that you do your rehearsals. The first time that you blurt out your answers to questions that you anticipate, or indeed your examples, or whatever it might be, does not want to be in a live golden opportunity interview. So start working by yourself at first, and then work with somebody else who's going to give you specific and actionable feedback so that you can actually improve your performance. Final thing to say as far as rehearsals are concerned, we want to come across as reasonably well polished, but not too much so that you don't listen to actually the question that is being asked by the interviewer and that you just trot out the pre-rehearsed answer. Listen to what the interviewer is asking and answer that question with in mind what lies behind that question. I hope that you find that useful. Maybe I've missed something, and if you do think of anything that I've missed, please do put it down in the comments below. Please do give us a big thumbs up and a like, because it does help with the algorithms. And if you feel this would be useful for somebody else, then please do share it. If you have any questions about your career or your job search or whatever it might be, then do get in touch. All my contact info is at the top of my LinkedIn profile, and thanks very much.